So I've got a cup of coffee and I wanted to sit here and chat with you today about how to host and plan an online art show. It really isn't as difficult as you think. And the first thing you're thinking is, well, why would I want to do that? Artists are good at making their own opportunities. And to that end, many artists have often opened up their own shows, hosted them in art cafes or pop up exhibitions. Some artists are at art fairs. They find different ways to get their art out there and share it with the public. But those venues have a cost to them. And in many cases, if you're an artist like myself, your online community is, well, your artist community is online. You don't have too many local friends to which you can host a show with, which brings us to who would be a part of it. Now you can host on your own, but the disadvantage to that is that if you are doing a solo show, you're going to need a lot of artwork. And that's the reason I haven't done this yet. I've been very excited to do an online show. I've been looking into it now for about a year and a half, but I just don't have a complete body of work. And it's much easier to be in a show with other artists when you're starting out. My first show was a group show and I had one piece in it. Again, that just makes things a lot easier. So you can come together as a group, collaborate, which is fun, exciting. You get feedback from one another. And you don't have to have as many pieces when you're starting off with your event. And if there are any costs, you can split them between each other. So the pros are that this is super easy and it can be more budget friendly for you than renting a coffee shop or a pop-up place. Sometimes you would have to, if you're in an art fair or market, you may even have to get a license to do that. So you can host this with ease online, which brings us to where. The where is going to be up to you. If you have a website, if one artist in your group has a website, you have a place that you can put this. And it's super easy to do. I'm going to show you a sample page on the back end of my website that's in draft to show you just how easy it is to replicate that in just a moment. And that's where we get to, is this legitimate? How do you make it look professional? And the answer to that is you start by observing. Whenever you go to a physical art exhibition or you see an exhibition online, you should, and I will say this, you should always first and foremost be there to enjoy the art. But during the show, you may want to put on your business face and look around and see what you like or don't like about how the art was presented. Looking at that, having a curator's eye, start developing that, and seeing what you like or don't like about the show can help you understand what you might or might not want in either an online or physical exhibition that you might host. So let's switch over to the draft pages on my website where I'm going to show you how I might conduct a show. And it's just one of many ways. I'll show you a few other options as well. Let's swap over. This type of group collaboration isn't anything new. Artists have been joining and creating collectives for a long time. And it's a very successful way for artists to grow together through discussion, through hosting exhibitions, through providing feedback for one another. So one of the things that you'll need to decide on the where to host your exhibition is whether or not you're going to be a collective that meets and posts regularly. If you decide that you're going to post regularly, say every quarter of the year, then you can decide whether or not you want to host it on a website of one of the members that already has a website, whether or not you want to pay for a standalone website for your art collective, or whether or not the collective wants to take turns with each of the members that has a website hosting the exhibition on their webpage. The most successful groups, the most successful collectives are those that work democratically. They allow those that are excited about the project to take turns taking the lead on the projects, and it can really work well for you and become something much more than it is. But the website itself, the exhibition itself is very simplistic, and you're looking at a sample right now. So if I were going to host on my website, this is a sample page. I'm lucky enough that the theme that I came with also comes with sample template pages for art exhibitions. So I'm on a WordPress website and I'm running on a theme called Divi. I'm not doing any affiliate links or anything like that here. I joined Divi with a lifetime membership when I started using them for my scrapbook website a long time ago. And the advantage of having a theme like this with a subscription means that I get regular templates and things like that for free. Anyway, what you'll need to do, regardless of where you host, is decide whether or not you're going to make a custom template, or you can purchase templates. You can look around online. And this is where budget comes into consideration. Your group, your collective, whether it's 2 of you or a group of 3 or a group of 10 or 20, you're going to need to decide what costs. And you can keep this down to pretty minimal. In this case, I could have built my own template, but whatever costs you have, you're going to need to decide how you want to disperse those among the group. If one member is going to take all the costs on because they're excited to host and do the project and invite everybody else in, or if you're going to split the costs up. Anyway, let's take a look at what the basic components are for an exhibition. So you've probably been looking around as I've been talking. Every exhibition is going to have a title to it. And then you might want to have a hero image here, or you can do a slideshow. And I'm going to show you a couple other options in a minute that you can place there. You're going to want to have exhibition info. Even though the online exhibition can technically live online on your website indefinitely until you take your website down, you probably want a set start and end date for your exhibition. What you'll notice when you look around at professional museums and galleries that do this, even though they might leave the web page up, they'll have a section of current exhibitions and past exhibitions. I had wanted to show you a few, but it gets a little hinky as far as copyright and what I have a right to show on my YouTube channel. I don't have the rights to some of the artists' work, and some artists don't want their work shown without their permission. So what I would encourage you to do is start looking around online at other organizations. Surface Design Association, who I am a member with, has online exhibitions, both current and past. Museum of Modern Art has they call them their virtual views exhibitions, where they curate work from within the museum and put them into small online exhibitions. There are a lot of galleries who will do this sort of thing, sometimes in conjunction with a physical exhibition that you can also go and see. But essentially, you are going to want to start an end date. And at some point, you're going to move this from a current exhibition spot on your website to a past exhibition spot. You are also going to want an about section or a curatorial statement about what this exhibition is. It doesn't have to be long. It can be as little as a sentence. It's really up to you. Then you can have a section with your featured artists. These are all the artists who are participating. And then you'll have the exhibition preview. Now, depending on the exhibition, if each artist was only contributing one piece, then you may have a grid or a vertical line of images with text next to it about each piece. So again, if it's just one piece, you don't necessarily need to link these images out of there, okay? But in the case an artist may have multiple pieces to show, then what you're going to want to do is have this piece here, this photo, be the main piece that that artist wants to show you, and then you're going to link to another page. So let's hop over to the other page, and then I'll come back and talk about the last section on this page. So this is, just a second to load, this is a sample page for the art exhibition. So let's pretend on the other page we clicked on Daniel Smith's image that they wanted to focus on. And then we're going to come over to the page and we're going to see all the work they created for this exhibition. So on this page, you're going to have the artist's name. You're going to have a quick artist bio or artist statement. And then you're going to want to have links to the artist's social media. You can have a video if you want. This part is optional, or it can be a slideshow of the artist's work in total. This is optional, but I left it in there so you could see it. But you will likely have some type of a grid with photos in a gallery style like this, showcasing whatever work the artist did for the exhibition. And that's it. That's a simple page. And you'll have one of these for each artist that is participating. So if we go back over to the home page, again, you could see this would have been Daniel Smith's photo, and we click on this and we go to the page I just showed you. You'll have one piece here for each artist that is participating. Now the next section is optional, but some online exhibitions and some physical exhibitions do have art talks and events that occur during the exhibition itself, and this can help you with your advertising of the event, help keep excitement for it. So in this section of your exhibition page, you can have art talks and interviews, and those can be in the form of a blog post. Those could also be in the form of a video. You can use YouTube, you can use Twitch, whatever platform you want to do, you would have an image related to that and a link with whatever you wanted to put there. So an artist talk could include an interview with the artist about their work. It could include a studio tour with a link to a post with a studio tour. So even if you're doing this online or at home, the artist can take a video of their studio. The artist could also include making of posts or videos where they show pictures or video, tutorial style, or just commentary about how some of the art pieces were made. All of these things could be included in the art talks and events. You can decide whether or not to post these at specific times where they go live. You can even do some of these as live events. You can host these live on YouTube or Twitch. You can also use Zoom to record conversations with one another. Whatever you want to do, it's your exhibition, but this whole section is definitely optional. Now, that being said, this is the simplest form of how you can host an online exhibition by using a web page. I mentioned here with this that you could turn it into a video. So that could be something you host on YouTube where someone is doing a tour of your whole gallery exhibition. You could put a slider here where it goes through each of the video, or not videos, but each of the art pieces that have been created. So there are also a couple of other options for things that you can put here. So I'm going to show you those. I am not affiliated with any of the things that I'm getting ready to show you. I'm just showing them to you as a couple of options. So there are a few things you can embed here in your page instead of a traditional video or a slideshow or a photo. One of those is a virtual art gallery exhibition. There are a variety of services that are available to which you can pay to put your pieces into these virtual galleries. Now, this is not virtual reality. You're not having someone put on like a, set of 3D glasses or anything like that. This is augmented reality. But these exhibitions are, these sites are going to give you the ability to create an exhibition like a room, almost like you're walking in like in a video game. ArtPlacer and Virtual Art Gallery are just two of the many that I found. So do a web search, and this is again where budget's going to come into play because there is a cost to using some of these. So you're going to need to look at these sites and decide whether or not this is something that you can afford and how the group wants to budget for these. Now, the thing with these is that they are usually temporary. You're only going to pay to have your art gallery on for a limited time. So in that case, I would recommend that you do like a YouTube video tour of it and record it and put it on the channel. And then you can have that YouTube video tour of your virtual gallery live for a longer period of time on your website. Another option is to, and this is another virtual gallery. This is Kunstmatrix, and you can see each one has a different view, and you can pay for furniture and stuff to go in there depending on what you want, buy little packs, things like that. Let's go to the other option. So the other option would be to create a 3D flip book out of a PDF. And this could be another option where you could use like say Google Slides or something like that, some type of slideshow, and record yourself talking about each piece and put that video of you talking about the slideshow onto your main exhibition header page. But there are these flip books, and you can see here just from the search, there are so many companies that do it. So again, you're going to have to decide budget-wise what works for you. And these flip books are like having a virtual magazine that you would then embed on your website. And the people can then look through this magazine or art book while they're on your website. I am going to show you an example of it. Actually, I'm going to send you a link to an example of it. There is a company called Fiber Art Takes Two that does online classes, and their students do student exhibitions, and they use flip books like this on their website as their exhibition. I can't show it here again because of copyright purposes, but the link to that will be below in the comments. So now that we've talked about all of that, we've covered budget, we've covered events. There's one other thing that you can do. You can decide, just like an art gallery, whether or not to have a shop. Now, I say this with a caveat because you want to be very clear with the people that you are collaborating with where the funds go to. I have seen a few artists do this where whatever funds were earned went towards a charity of their choice. So you could do something like that. Typically, what I recommend for this, if you're going to sell your artwork, is instead of having a traditional shop for the original artwork, that you refer anybody who wants to purchase to the artist's website. But that being said, if you are a collaborative group, if you are a collective and you're meeting regularly, you might come up with your own logo. You might have, things that you could use to merchandise. And there are so many print-on-demand companies these days where you could do coffee mugs, art prints, magnets, different things like that. So you could consider having your own shop added into your exhibition page. But that is, of course, optional. The last thing I'm going to talk to you about, but I'm going to flip screen so I can show you an example, is a media kit and how you advertise. So then you're probably thinking, how do I advertise for your show? And that's going to be up to you through word of mouth and on social media. It's not much different than how a gallery would advertise, except that a gallery might have physical flyers like these. These are the little flyers, these cards that were made up for the art exhibition that I was a part of. And there is a cost to printing these. You could also do them business card size or postcard size, but you don't have to have anything physical in print. This is a way that art galleries would do this, and I saved these for my scrapbook. But then the idea is you could slip this. It's about the size of a business letter, and you could slip it inside an envelope and mail it off to people that you knew. Not much different than social media, except it's a little more old-fashioned that way. You could also have them on hand and pass them out as you're going out and about. Again, kind of just a more old-fashioned way of sharing things on social media. The one thing that I will say is that some of your group members may be really good at social media, better than others. Let them take the lead. Whatever the jobs or the roles are in your little collaborative, in your collective, you want to let everyone lean into their strengths. And so if you have someone that's really good with that, let them do that. But if you're starting to do this seriously and you're starting to do this regularly, you may want to come up with a media kit, which basically is going to be text or templates that everyone can use so that you have a consistent message when you're sharing about your event. And it just makes things easier. The hardest part, whether it's setting up your online gallery for your website or setting up your social media sharing, is going to be initially setting up those templates. But once you have all those templates ready, then all you're going to need is to decide the media that goes in them and the text, and then you're just going to pop those things in and you're going to send them out. But what would be in your media kit? And you can Google, do an internet search for making a media kit. It's not really that hard. You also don't have to do anything very complex if this is something that doesn't appeal to you. So your media kit could be as simple as just the text, which includes the name of the exhibition, the dates and the times, and maybe the place. So in this case, they had the physical place because this was a physical exhibition. But on your little text kit, you could put the website where you're going to be hosting it. If you do come up with logos, you would probably include those in your media kit, and you would want them to be a PNG so that everybody can place it over the top. You don't have to, but you may also want to come up with a color palette if your collaborative is, or if your collective is working on a regular basis. But it's as simple or as complex as you want things to be, whether it's from the way that you're doing your exhibition, to how you're sharing about it. And whether it's a physical exhibition or an online exhibition, word of mouth is going to be the way that you're going to advertise for it. If you are part of a group, they may advertise for you if you share that information. And by group, I mean an association. Like, for example, I'm a part of Surface Design Association. So if I wanted to share that I'm doing this online event, I could share that information from them, and they could choose to include that in their newsletter. And that could be another way for you to disseminate information out there into the community. And of course, your family and friends, you're going to want to share that with them. It's going to take time, but if you start doing these regularly with your collective, you are going to find that you will get an increased audience each time. If you have any further questions about hosting an online exhibition, let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer for you or help you research the information. It can be very simple, just from a simple web page all the way up to some of the other options that I showed you, where you include the flipbook or a virtual art gallery. It's up to you. It's up to what budget you want to spend on it. But you can make it look professional quite easily, even with that very simplistic website. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.